Let's go to another student in Denver. Go ahead, please. Please go ahead. That's Professor. Go ahead.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Yang Ming. I'm a visiting scholar from China. I'm against the possible war to Iraq. One of the reasons for Bush to make a possible war to Iraq is that Iraq violates UN's resolution. Of course, UN's resolution should be respected by every country. But there are still some countries in the world who that violates UN resolutions. For example, Israel. What was U.S. government's attitude to it?
Thanks. Thanks, Professor. We get the point of the question. Do you have a comment on that last question from the
Professor Yamin is, of course, right. I think the Israelis have probably racked up the largest number of UN condemnations for the appalling mistreatment of the non-Jewish population, the other population of Palestine. And it's now admitted by everyone, and even the president himself has become the first American president to use the words Palestinian and state in the same sentence and in apposition to one another. That there are two peoples in Palestine and that there should be a two-state solution. But in the meantime, it seems that Israel is to suffer no penalty for its repeated violations, not just of the resolutions, but of the rights that the UN stands for and embodies. And this is a very serious negation in my view, and it's the thing that threatens to jeopardize the whole project of American sponsorship of regime change in the region. Because if seen as the military ally of a racist bully and killer like Ariel Sharon, the whole appeal of the American project is to that extent diminished.
Of course,
it's a very, very serious problem indeed that the professor has identified.
One reason that Israel is in violation of some of those resolutions, though not that many, not as many as you would think, is because they face the same problem that we do of terrorism, of suicide bombers, of people who are not interested whatsoever in making peace with Israel, but in destroying Israel. Groups like Hezbollah, groups like the Palestinian entity that are basically also partly funded by people like Saddam and indeed the Islamists who want to destroy the state of Israel, and that join with Saddam and the Saudis and many other Arab regimes in a fanatical Hitlerian anti-Semitism that wants to see Israel taken off the map. Now, the other difference is quite obvious. Israel is not threatening the world with giving terrorist entities weapons of mass destruction to destroy other countries and innocent civilians. Saddam is. And that's an absolutely clear distinction which makes the priority, obviously,
however, Israel did illegally and by piracy and deception acquire a nuclear arsenal that's in flagrant violation of the Non-Proliferation Treaty and maintains it still.
Yes, and if it weren't for that, if it weren't for its defense, it's sitting there with 1/10 of 1% of the land that Arabs have. If it didn't have those defenses, it would have been obliterated long ago. And you know it. And you know that these surrounding powers want Israel destroyed. Not a almost none of them even acknowledge its right to exist, and are fomenting terrorism against its civilians, which is exactly the same as the terrorism fomented against us.
The UN resolutions that have been violated, you talk about, all these violations occurred well before anyone had heard of, or before there was such an organization as Hezbollah, which arose incidentally in response to a completely illegal Israeli aggression and occupation in South Lebanon.
Are you denying that Hezbollah has very close ties with Islamist fundamentalism and terrorism?
Hezbollah means a party of God. Which
so why are you ambivalent?
I think gives a clue about its views about theocracy.
You who argue against theocratic terrorism are giving Hezbollah a pass?
Hezbollah was the organizer of the resistance to an illegal, criminal Israeli occupation.
Well, don't you think that Al-Qaeda...
They had every right. They had under international law every right to resist and repel that occupation.
Don't you think you could use the same argument about Al-Qaeda resisting the tyranny in Saudi Arabia?
Quite obviously not. Al-Qaeda is not fighting an occupation.
It seems to me
Al-Qaeda is fighting to establish...
You actually defend terrorism when it's directed against Israel, but not against the rest of the world?
It is not terroristic for a Lebanese citizen...
It is not terroristic to have suicide bombing?
It is not terroristic for a Lebanese citizen to resist a foreign occupation of his country. He has international laws on his side.
Hezbollah is not about Lebanese citizens resisting anything. Hezbollah is about the destruction of Israel, the use of terroristic tactics to kill innocent civilians. Now, why can't you condemn that?
That's what I mean by the...
Isn't Hezbollah the enemy?
That's what I meant earlier, Andrew, when I said that the word terrorism has become effectively useless because of propagandization and diminishing
So you will not condemn Hezbollah?
International law gives the right of the Palestinians and the Lebanese to resist
First
occupation.
of all, the Lebanese, as you know full well,
Al-Qaeda
is a complete
Al-Qaeda is not a
euphemism.
guerrilla organization fighting occupation.
Hezbollah is an international terrorist group funded in part from the mullahs in Iran that you despise, and yet you will not condemn it for its suicide attacks on Israel and its use of terrorist tactics.
I'm emphasizing what isn't obvious, Andrew. Okay,
well, I'd like you to emphasize, just for the record, what is obvious, that Hezbollah is our enemy.
Got to go back to the phones. Meadville, Oregon, you're on the air. Go ahead, please.
Good morning. Hey, you know, if Hezbollah wants to fight, that's fine, but they don't need to go blow themselves up in the middle of, populated areas. Get an army and go fight. You know, that's ridiculous. They're terrorists.
Well, actually, that's what they did do in South Lebanon. You could see them out in the open. You still can.
Did you have another point, Meadville?
I do want to...